Welcome back to the 1313 podcast, the most mediocre podcast in the Star Wars universe. I'm Jacob.
I'm Jackson.
I'm Tommy.
Welcome back, all you Regs, and to all you Shinies. Welcome to the podcast. This is the podcast. Before we begin, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. We really much appreciate all your feedback on stuff. And also,
stop messing up for the second week in a
dude,
row.
no, dude, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Also, if you haven't already, please be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and now Twitch. That's right. We got a Twitch now. So, probably soon I'll start doing a little series about streaming Jedi Fallen Order leading up to the release of the new game. So that should be fun. But as well as that, just, links in the description or in the link tree or somewhere. So be sure to go follow us on Twitch. Turn on those notifications so you know exactly when we're streaming. But if you also want to know when we're streaming, make sure to join the Discord. All announcements go out to the Discord. If you want to be super ultra mega cool and fun, join the Discord. We got a lot of cool people in there, a lot of cool time, very fun times. So join the Discord. And then finally, if you feel like you're going above and beyond and supporting the podcast, please support us on Patreon. Link is in the description below. We do give away every month, and for February, we're going to be giving away the new 501st Battle Bag. Really cool set. So please be sure to join the Patreon if you want a chance at winning this. And also, finally, merch. Ding ding. Link below.
We got the merch.
Link
We
below.
got the merch.
Yes.
Fellas.
Get you merch.
First week back at school. How are we feeling?
Awful, dude. It's the third day, and I don't want to be here anymore.
It's technically my Friday, so we're chilling. I don't have any classes.
You don't
on.
have class tomorrow?
No, I stacked my schedule, so I have
that is right.
Mondays and Wednesdays I have 3 classes in a row that are all 2.5 hours, and I have 30 minutes in between class, which is just enough time to get from one end of the campus to the other. So I'm basically nonstop those days, and then today I had intro to forensics. The teacher is a bona fide psychopath. Literally, class starts today, and he starts going, if we just decided to put boots on the ground, we could just go in there and we could take over Russia, and then after we take over Russia, North Korea would be scared, so we could just go in and take them over.
What?
I think he's onto something here.
And then after that, we'll have China in a pickle, and then we can take them and take over the world. And he said that 5 times when different people walked in the class, and everybody just was kind of like, like really kind of just like, is this dude serious? Like he's cuckoo. He's straight up screwed in the head. So there's him, and then I have my politics class, which is terrible because it's politics. I hate politics, but the dude is like, it was so funny. He was like, I'm going to do my best to hide my political views. And then the next sentence, he made it very obvious which way he was leaning. So I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. I don't care that much. And he just kind of holds himself with this regard that he's better than everybody. You're not allowed to miss his class at all unless it's for if you're sick with COVID or you're getting married. And that's it.
That's awesome.
So he acts like he's the most important thing.
That's
to
how my politics teacher was too.
I hate him. Like literally, I was sitting there in the entire class just like I hate that dude. And then finally, I have finite math. And today in finite math, they're like, today we're going to learn about Venn diagrams. I was like, I did not know I walked into Montessori class. I sit there and I'm like, there's no way people are taking notes on this and asking questions. Like, this is like straight 5th grade math. And I'm like, what is going on? So there's that. So today was like, my Tuesdays and Thursdays are boring as heck. So I look forward to my studio classes, and I have a film class now. And cool side note, there's posters all over the department for movies that people have worked on. There's a poster for what is it? What is that movie that people say is a Christmas? Die Hard. There's a poster for Die Hard. There's a poster for Batman Forever. There's a poster in my classroom for Rogue One. In the hallway, there's a poster for The Mandalorian because Dave Filoni. And then in the studio, there's a poster for a Jason Bourne film. The new Blade Runner, the old Blade Runner, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
That's so sweet.
That class is gonna be fun. But that's my week.
Sweet, nice. Yeah, my week. I only have 4 classes this semester because it is my last semester of college. So I'm just kind of cruising. None of my classes are too hard. As long as I keep up with the work this semester, it should be easy. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna be a lot less stressed and a lot less tired than I was last semester.
That's good. Yeah, my Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I literally have 1 class, so I go I have to go to my PT in the morning, and then I go right to the gym and just grab a quick breakfast and go to class in my gym clothes. So it's kind of nice because then right after class, none of my roommates are there, so I can just shower, get cleaned up, and do whatever I need to do. And especially for tomorrow, I have a lab at 3, which is going to be an admin lab, and we have to sit there while they're like, when you're training in the snow this year, make sure you wear your gloves, everyone. You know, your hands could get a little cold, and make sure you bring your wet weather and your cold weather gear because you don't want to get wet or cold. When literally we will never use that equipment when I go to Real Army. But it is what it is.
I've also been starting to hit the gym 6 days a week again today, or this week, and it's like tough that first week, you know, because you have to get back into your, you know, your diet and all that stuff. I've been having the most vile bowel movements this week, like absolutely. It's just I'm in constant like fear of what's to come. So aside from that, it's just, dude, it's terrible. It's like what normally would take 10 minutes takes 10 hours. It's absolutely terrible.
I had my leg day today, and I got to the gym when I sat in my car, and I looked at the door, and I went, I don't want to go in.
Dude, I did chest. I started doing Arnold curls. Do you guys do that?
What's Arnold curls?
You take dumbbells like this, and you go up, and then like down like that. Dude, it does something else to your shoulders. It is so nice.
That is what I do for my chest day on my shoulder press. That's like the second workout I start my day with, and it's like, oh.
I have a jacked up shoulder, so I can't
Never
do
mind.
that. But
I had with my leg day, I did like that leg press. I did leg press. I did my squats. And it was really weird because there was this girl trying to do deadlifts like right in front of like where I was doing, because I used the hack squat thing.
yeah.
So she was standing like right in front of the thing, so I was literally doing everything like this.
Dude, this floor is very floory today.
This feeling was really
yeah.
pretty. But no, workout had me straight feeling like I was going to vomit, so it means I did a good job.
Yes. Aside from all this,
Yes.
let's now that you guys are done listening to us talk about
School
and gym and
But you
cool
guys think
things.
we're hot, so you like to.
If you want to be a productive person in life, have a consistent sleep schedule or attempt to have a consistent diet or attempt to, and be active. You will have longevity in life. Yes. So podcast related, we have just a couple announcements. First, there's now another adjusted upload schedule. We are hoping to just stick with this upload schedule. Again, thank you for bearing with us through all the kinks in figuring out what works best for us and
this channel is
recording.
very kinky.
Yes, we are
Chill.
very. And so Tika's Trading Post, if you would have noticed from last week, is now being uploaded every Saturday instead of every Monday. So you can expect those to be up on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Eastern time, but not this week. Because
There's nothing to talk about.
There's really nothing to talk about.
Because we also decided that if there was only 2 pieces of news that we could really find for Tika's this week anyway, so we were just like, why not just hold it for next week?
If there was 3 pieces of news, maybe, but 2,
It's not worth our time, and it's not worth your time to watch.
We're
if
trying
we
to
don't have
like
anything.
we talked about maybe having like a discussion topic, but like Tika's supposed to be about the products.
Yeah,
So we didn't really see a reason to have that sort of thing.
Yeah.
and that's fine.
so
But yeah, so there's that.
Tika's card is empty this week.
But yeah, and I think that covers everything. So if, just keep on the lookout. We will let you guys know on the podcast if there's going to be a Tika's or not every week. So, or just tune in every Saturday. And if nothing gets uploaded at 9 a.m., that either means that we had some technical difficulties, which in that case you should jump in the Discord and know, or you can just assume that nothing's being uploaded.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's fair.
But also just stay on your toes for our sporadic and random review uploads.
Yeah. We're working on. There's some quality issues here and there with some of them.
Yes.
But we're working on that. We're working on constantly improving. So, yeah.
Getting into your what's new section now.
Yeah. What else is new? So Jacob had a big thing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
week.
really
very,
big
very
thing.
exciting.
Last
Actually.
Saturday, I finally went and I did this. See if I'm
show's better when you get it. There you go.
There it is.
So I finally ended up getting my Chimera tattoo. It was last Saturday, was it?
It was Saturday. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's almost been a week.
Yeah.
But I was at work with Tommy, and then I went to the printer in the back room and I printed out the Chimera and like cut it out and I taped it to my arm just to get like how big I want it to be and this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the shop because it's not too far from where we work, and I'm gonna go and get a quote. So I walk in there and I'm like, so how much do you think something about this size all filled in is gonna be? And they're like, about $500. I was like, that's what I was thinking. So I'm about to leave, and the owner of the shop is standing right there. He goes, that's a really cool design, and that's a really cool placement. Tell you what, you do it today, I'll do it for $300. And I was like, I have from Jackson from Christmas that $100 gift voucher to the shop, so I'm only paying $200 for this. And I was like, that I might do. So I called my manager, and I was like, hey, can I do this? And she was like, sure. And I was like, Tommy, you're gonna be shorthanded for the rest of work because I'm gonna go do this. I ran home, I scarfed down a Hot Pocket, I drank an entire cup of orange juice so I wouldn't pass out. And
I gave you my McDonald's orange juice.
Gave me some of that too. It was yummy. But yeah, and now I got this. It's in. Thank goodness it's at a distance because right now it's in the peeling stage. There's like pictures that I have from like when I first got it. There might be one that comes up if Tommy feels like putting it in. If he doesn't, I don't care that much.
It's right there anyway.
It's right there.
Yeah,
you can see it. It's actually covering Jacob right now.
Yeah,
picture. Yeah.
But no, I'm super happy with it. It's really sick. It hurt really bad, especially like in here and like down towards my little flexi area right here. And I was like, I would like this to end. And then of course, after the fact, I looked at the stencil, not hard enough. There's a couple little mistakes in it that I've noticed that I'm kind of like, oh, bummer.
But now it's your own.
Yeah. So probably in the future, because the guy does free touch-ups, I might go back and be like, hey, can we fix these? There's supposed to be like spikes on the back end of this guy, and then there's supposed to be dots lining the bellies of them. So and then he filled in the mouth on this on accident and forgot this guy's bottom teeth. So there's like, it's like the mistakes that are there are like so minimal. If you look at it at a distance, you're not gonna be able to tell. If you're just like a casual fan, you're not gonna be able to tell. But for me, since I'm like this to it all the time, I'm like, oh, that's a thing. But
it's pretty epic though.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's exactly what I wanted. I think it's pretty cool.
Do you show Grandma?
No, I haven't seen Grandma yet. So
wait till she sees it. She'll be like,
now I can look hot in the gym with my tatted arm.
Yeah, there you go.
You gotta get tats all over.
At some point I'm gonna get I'm gonna spend some time with my dad. We're gonna illustrate what the full sleeve would look like. My dad is super against this, but I think and I know it'd be super painful, but I think it'd be super cool to get the Republic cog on the elbow, like right there, like Jesse's Republic cog, just on my elbow. It would hurt really bad.
For placement choice, I think a shoulder would look better because
I already have the J guys there. Yeah.
Because they were right there.
And then I do want to get Rex's T visor underneath the J guys.
Okay.
And then what I want to do is get like 501 down the inside of my bicep, which is also going to hurt really bad probably.
Because then you can flex and go.
Yeah, and then you can see 501 when I flex. And then I need to figure out what I'm going to do with, because it's going to be a full sleeve. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with all the rest of my arm.
Gauntlet?
A comlink? That would be so cringe if I just had the gauntlet on my thing.
I have two different ideas right now. One idea that I'm kicking around is either A, on this forearm, doing either wrapping around like a bracelet or going like this, and Huttese doing the members of my family like a chain code like in Boba's armor.
That's pretty cool.
So either that, or I think it would be really cool to do Darth Maul's tattoos down my entire arm.
Dude,
that'd be
pretty
pretty
badass.
Nice. I think
that'd hurt like
both. Oh, it would
hurt
suck.
like a mug. Though.
But both of which I think would be pretty cool, and I'm not in the market to do either of them right now. So.
Yeah, I did go to the shop that you guys go to and got a quote on my.
Oh, okay.
This was over the summer. I did this actually. I got a quote on the visor. They're like, yeah, easy $100. We would just get that, fill that in for you.
Not a bad idea.
One session. I was like, because I'm debating. I think right now I don't want to do the teeth of the underneath the visor, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
I would just do like the black T-shaped visor from Rex's Phase 1 or Phase 2 armor. But I still, like I said, I need to figure out the rest of the design, see what it would look like.
How long did that one? You're the one on your shoulder.
This took less than an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. How long
same
was your
thing.
longest one?
I don't know.
I was gonna say no.
Well, no, this was only an hour, so it had to be this one because it had the filling anyway.
No, that one wasn't very long at all because I stood there the whole time. It was maybe only like 30, 45 minutes.
No, shoot, you're right.
This was 2.5 hours.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Everybody I talked to, they're like, "That's your first one. That's kind of big for your first one." And I was like, "Yeah," but I was like, if I'm gonna do just one and just get one for the rest of my life, this is what I would want to do. So,
nothing.
It's
I'll never forget when Jackson, like, because at the time Jackson was
Not
literally
funny, not
skin
funny,
and bone
bro.
on his chest, and so I remember when he came up after he got it outlined, the 5, and he was like, dude, I am in the most pain I have ever been in my entire
That was
life.
the chest is. Really
I think if you got it
painful.
filled in now, you would really be fine.
I
think
don't
you
want
really
it filled in because I like how it looks.
That's
now.
fair.
I don't
That's
like
fair.
it because I don't like massive color. I like the blue anyway, just the
Yeah.
thin that it is.
I'm the exact opposite. When they were doing the outlining, it was uncomfortable, but I was like, I can do this all day. I could stand this. And then I thought the shading
The
was going to
filling?
be easy because I was like, it's going to be multiple needles. It's going to be more surface area. It's not going to hurt that bad. And I've heard other people say it doesn't hurt that bad.
Like mine didn't hurt at all when I got it filled in.
And it was bad. It went from when you're just getting outlined, it feels like you're just getting a shot like done really quick over and over again, and that's not bad at all. But when you're getting it filled in, maybe it's because yours was less surface area than mine. It feels like somebody's like taking a cheese grater to your skin and going and scraping it. It was like this weird. It was like hot water, but it like hurt differently than hot water. It was like burning hot water, like fire burning, not like hot water burning. it was a really weird pain sensation that I never really gotten before. But hopefully I get done peeling soon so I can. I'm kind of over putting gel on it, and then
You only have one more week, and then you'll be fine.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna be okay.
But yeah,
Cool.
And then Tommy's got some
So I have a big announcement. So
Yeah.
I am officially a member of the 501st Legion. I'm very, very excited. This has been a long process in the making, and I was really, really excited.
It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
It's been since 2020. Since 2020 was when I started.
I
it.
guess, yeah. No,
We're in
that's
2023
true.
now.
Well, I think if you count up the total amount of time that you've been doing, it wasn't that long. Just because you were just on and off with it. You just
Yeah,
got
that's
busy,
true.
and there was
Yeah.
periods of time where you wouldn't touch it at all.
Yeah. But yeah, so my Arc Commander Blitz armor is officially done. It is now I'm now an official member. My TK ID is my AR number for ARC Trooper, so it's AR 14589. The reason I chose that number as my first choice was because 4589 is Arc Commander Blitz's CT number in canon, so that was pretty cool for me. I'll always have a remembrance of my first costume that I did for all my other ones that I plan to do. I'm very, very happy to finally be done with this process, and now I can do all the fun things like troop and go to events and get like cool t-shirts and trading cards and all the stuff that comes with it.
And to all you pricks out there that are in the 501st, you took all of the... I helped him find his CT number, and I scoured the entire list to find a 1313. They were all gone. Everything that had like any inkling to do with two 13s in the same number, they were all gone. So you all suck. You all suck, because that's what I wanted to do for when I do mine.
Dang, that's
So-
okay.
Screw you guys. Well, not actually, but actually screw you guys.
At first, I was like, "What the hell are you saying?"
It's like, what are we doing?
Because now I'm in the cult, so now I have to back up
Adhere
the
by
cult
the
at all
cult.
costs.
Mhm.
But yeah,
But you're also in the mini cult of the podcast.
But yeah,
Mini cult
I'm
conspiracy.
super happy with it. You know, it's like now my armor's done. Like I can like make tweaks to it now if I want to. We already made a couple tweaks to it, so it's a more comfortable fit. But yeah, we're going to an event in a couple weeks. It's going to be my first official event. It's the Erie Otters. Our local hockey team is doing a Star Wars night. And there are about, I want to say 12 to 16 of us signed up for people coming up from Pittsburgh and stuff. Our garrison in our area is called Starkiller Garrison, which is pretty ironic for how much I dump on Starkiller on the podcast. I know there's a guy coming up as Republic Commando Sev. There's going to be a Darth Vader, a couple Stormtroopers, a couple TIE pilots, a couple Jawas. We've got, my dad's going to do his Commander Bly for this event.
Okay, cool.
We've got
Nice.
a Han Solo that's coming up. We've got a few other, I want to say imps that are coming up, and I'm not sure, maybe another clone. But either way, it's going to be a blast. We're going to do the event, and we're going to be bringing Commander Chris 2.0 along so he can join in on the fun too.
Nice.
Sweet.
Quick question.
Quick answer.
Did you want me to bring my camera and shoot the event?
Dude, that'd be awesome. Jackson's already going because he's going to squire the event
Yes.
because Jackson is working on his ARC Trooper 5's armor. So he's going to be doing
Finally.
what I did, which was like basically you're like our security detail.
That's
You're going to
fine.
make sure we don't trip over anything, and you're going to make sure that Nobody gets a little too handsy with the armored people who can't see very well.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen almost at all, but every once in a blue moon you'll get normally a teenager that thinks it would be hilarious to try and push over the stormtroopers or the clone troopers or something, because that's really silly, goofy, and hilarious. Let's get that video for TikTok. Yeah, but so yeah, that's what he'll do. And then I mean, if you wanna come film, that'd be dope actually.
And eventually, we'll get you out and we'll do that photo shoot.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
My entire idea was with snow. And now all the snow's gone.
It's snowing tomorrow.
Well, who knows? February is a big month for snow in our area, so
if we get some, what time are your classes tomorrow?
it's at noon. It's noon to noon 50.
Okay.
And then I work all day.
I
get out of work at 7. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say I'm downtown at noon for lunch tomorrow. So I was that would work. I could just go pick you up and put all the stuff in the back of my truck.
You'd have to help suit me up. You would see how much of a pain in the ass it is to get that stuff on and on, because the Lord blessed me with a badonkadonk, but when you're trying to take off clone armor with that and shimmy off the cod piece, it's not exactly compatible for that body type. So,
Nice.
But yeah, so now that we've spent about 15 to 20 minutes talking about ourselves and how cool we are and how awesome and neat we are, now let's talk about some freaking Star Wars, shall we?
Yeah. So
Some Star Wars.
once again, Pedro Pascal continues to have an absolute chokehold on the streaming industry with a new trailer out for Mando Season 3. Premiered Monday Night Football at 8:15 p.m.
The game started at 8:15 p.m. I don't think the trailer came out till close to 10 o'clock.
Yeah, but no, absolutely. If you haven't seen it already, link is going to be somewhere, or if not, just Google Mandalorian trailer.
It's the first thing.
Yeah,
you'll see.
You'll see it. You'll find it.
So
Dude,
good.
it was like Mando's weird for me. It's one of those things where like I'm never like, oh, I'm so excited for Mando until like it's happening. Does that make sense? Like until like,
you're like
yeah. I forget how much I like Mando until it's like right here in front of me. Yeah, like with the other shows like The Bad Batch and Andor, like my anticipation was growing as it got closer. Whereas with this, it wasn't up until the day of the trailer drop that I was like hyped for it, and it did not disappoint.
Yep,
No,
it really did.
It was just perfect in every way. We got so much too that it makes me question how much we're gonna see in the first episode.
I would say almost no. I would say more than half of it was new shots.
Yes.
Which I was very happy to see. I thought it was going to be mostly reused shots, except for maybe 1 or 2.
I'm most excited about what are we going to see with that little Jedi temple bit.
Yeah.
Is that just going to be Grogu's rescue? Is that going to be Mandalorian stealing the Darksaber?
So Jacob and I, of course, we be calling each other after a trailer drops or something. And so that night, Jacob and I were talking a little bit about that flashback, because you have multiple Jedi in the Jedi Temple, and the door is being cut open, not by a lightsaber, by some sort of laser cutter or fusion cutter or something. And there's a couple different ways I feel like that could go. I think the more obvious one, and I think the way that it will end up going, is going to be it's going to it's going to be more of a peek into how Grogu got taken from the Jedi Temple. But I think that there's also a very real possibility that it could have something more to do with the history of the Darksaber. So we know in the Clone Wars, I don't remember if it's Pre Vizsla or Bo-Katan that says it in the Clone Wars, but one of them talks about how the Darksaber was. It was who?
It's Vizsla.
Okay.
Yeah, Vizsla.
Yeah, so one of them talks about how the Darksaber was originally, after Tar Vizsla died, who was the Mandalorian Jedi in the Old Republic time, the Jedi kept it as a relic, like as an item of importance in the temple. And then one day, I don't know if this was during or after the Mandalorian Wars with the Jedi, back in the Old Republic time, the Mandalorians broke into the temple, stole the Darksaber, and left. So this might be that sequence, because those Jedi... We haven't seen their robes, so we won't know like if this is.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be a first peek in the High Republic?
I think it'd be epic.
So cool.
It'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I think more likely though it's gonna be the Grogu backstory thing. Completing
Not a
that
bad
little
idea.
arc, which I'm whatever about. I'm kind of
I'm happy with it if it means more Anakin.
Because now when I think about it too, especially in the trailer, we got those Mandalorian action shots. Like they're with Mando or they're fighting somebody. But we don't know who. Moff Gideon's gone. what's to fight at this point. Obviously,
Other
besides,
Mandalorians.
sure, maybe other Mandalorians, but I feel like now we're going to get more hints of what's going on with the Empire, especially after seeing the Kaminoan scientist just cruising around Coruscant. It was
that
like,
cool.
Yeah.
no way.
So that's a point that I really wanted to bring up. So we have that sweeping shot of Coruscant, and that alone made my jaw drop. I never thought we would be visiting Coruscant in The Mandalorian.
Mhm.
And we do see Dr. Pershing is his name.
Mhm.
We do see him, the guy that looks exactly like Michael from Rex and Around.
Yep.
We see him in a speeder, kind of gazing around at the cityscape. I think it's being piloted by a droid. I'm not sure, but he's the only one in the speeder. I'm assuming one of two things here. The first would be a more boring option. It would be that he is under arrest, that the New Republic has him, and they're transporting him from one facility to another. That being said, I don't think they would have him in an open-air speeder doing that in the higher levels of Coruscant, unless he's going to trial or something with the New Republic. But my theory personally is that why would he be on Coruscant? For one of two reasons. One, he is visiting Moff Gideon at a maximum security prison, because we do know Moff Gideon is being held by the New Republic.
Yes.
So maybe he's going to visit him to get some information, maybe as the next steps of the plan, as to what they're going to do with the Force sensitive, with the M count, the midichlorians, and all that stuff they did with Grogu. Or maybe he's going to where there's maybe a vault, or maybe they haven't completely cleared out Palpatine's headquarters in the Senate building, and there's some secret passage in the Senate building that he's able to access somehow, that he will get some sort of relic that has to do with Palpatine and will help further tie in the sequel trilogy to The Mandalorian.
So probably what I'm banking on is because already, if we're going with the idea that the New Republic is holding Gideon on Coruscant, that goes from the Heir to the Empire books, because in the sequels we see the New Republic is not on Coruscant.
They're on Hosnian Prime.
It's on different planets.
Yeah.
In Heir to the Empire, the headquarters initially was the Emperor's palace on Coruscant. So that's where it all gets started in that book. So I'm hoping that they kind of canonize some more pieces from that, and we see kind of like what's supposed to be the Emperor's palace on Coruscant. Maybe like that's where because that's what the home base is for the New Republic in the book. And Luke Skywalker and Leia and Han all hang around there, and Leia's all pregnant and stuff. So maybe maybe that will tie in, and we'll get to see like pre-Ben or something.
It'd be cool.
We're starting to get close to like when he should be born.
Things should start tying in. I think it's only a matter of time before we start seeing some more original trilogy characters other than just Luke Skywalker. I think honestly this trailer gives a lot to offer in terms of theory crafting for like season 3. There's a lot that's left up to be like decided with The Mandalorian. I still think it's going to be a Mandalorian Civil War. I think that's the direction we're heading in here. Because we see, so those Mandalorians that had like that hodgepodge armor, that is apparently Clan Eldar, which appears in Star Wars Rebels. I didn't pick up on that until I saw it pointed out in like an explanation video for the trailer. So that's really cool that it's totally Dave Filoni putting in more Rebel stuff into Mando, which leads me to believe if we're going to be seeing other clans, maybe Sabine will help Din learn a little bit better how to manage the Darksaber, as she was taught from Kanan.
That would be a good reason why they would show her off at celebrations.
Yep.
Wouldn't Ahsoka take place during the same time as this too?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
That would be cool. Sabine was in it.
That'd be cool.
Actually, no, it would be happening either just about the same time or a little bit after, because not the last time we saw Ahsoka, but in her episode, she was hunting for Thrawn.
True.
Right.
So this is going to be happening probably right after she leaves in Book of Boba Fett.
What if Ahsoka also works the same way the Book of Boba did, where it's a chapter in the Mandalorian story as well? Although, like, it's Ahsoka's show, the Mandalorian might be in it here and there.
So,
I think at some point he'll absolutely be.
So, like, what I'm kind of hoping for is that everything that's like Disney Plus shows right now kind of revolves around the Mandoverse. So it's like Mando, Book of Boba overlaps it. Hopefully, Ahsoka is going to overlap it, and it's gonna end up with Thrawn being the new big bad guy, and then we're gonna have like some like thing at the very end, like where everybody comes together to fight Thrawn.
They've already said that this is all going to come together at the end, and there's going to be this big like apex event at the end, like an Endgame style, like huge conflict where everybody like. So you are absolutely right. Like all these shows are revolving around one another, and they're all interconnected. I hope that the Ahsoka show spins back around and doesn't entirely just become a spinoff. But then again, I also really want to delve deep into what's going on with Hera, what's going on with Sabine, what's going on with Ahsoka. I want to get that connection. What's going on
with Caleb's kid?
Yeah, Jason Solo.
That's something I completely forgot to mention as well, because at the end of Rebels, which most people haven't seen Rebels, what are you doing? Kanan has a kid. He obviously breaks the Jedi Code and has a relationship with Hera, but he has a kid.
He put on
so now, like, where's that kid? You know, he's probably going around. Is this kid also going to be Force sensitive like his father?
So these handlebars got tassels on them.
Bro.
Whoa!
I don't know what he's talking
about.
About. I don't know what he's talking about.
We're skipping this now.
Sorry.
But I do think, though, so there's that scene where the Mandalorians, so you see the Night Owls, they're dropping on this city. Yeah. I think that's Navarro, if I'm not mistaken.
The battle sequences look like Navarro.
It will probably be Tatooine. If we know Star Wars, everything goes back to
No! I'm gonna lose my mind if we see Tatooine in this season again, dude. I mean, we probably will, because Boba's probably gonna be involved.
For a backwater planet, it seems like it's the center of the galaxy.
Disney loves to show us Tatooine, bro. Yeah, but I think, honestly, we're being led to believe that this conflict is not going to be as central as we think it is. I think what's going to happen is Din's going to get caught in the middle between the two factions, because I think he's going to go to get atoned for his sins, which I think is stupid in the first place that he's doing that.
Well, if all you've ever known your entire life was this order, and then like the one thing that you were really looking out for leaves, and now it's kind of back, you're like, well, what else am I supposed to do? He literally lost his entire identity. And probably the change is going to be, he's going to go to Mandalore, he's going to seek atonement, everything's going to happen. At the final second, he's going to be like, know what? No, I decide against this. I'm going to be my own person. And he's going to take off his helmet, and we're all going to see that handsome man, Pedro Pascal. And then Oscar Isaac's going to run on set, and they're going to start calling each other daddy, because that's something that they do. And then, yeah.
I think that he's going to get to Mandalore, and Bo-Katan, who's already jealous of him, and honestly is becoming almost another adversary for him in this show, because she just wants the Darksaber so badly.
She should not have it. She's lost it twice. She should not have it.
Nope.
I think Mando is going to go to her, and in finding out, like in trying to find this little well, I think that it's going to be revealed to her that he is not a blood Mandalorian, because if you remember from season 2, Bo-Katan tells Boba Fett that he's not a real Mandalorian because it's not by blood. Even though he's a literal clone of Jango Fett, who is a Mandalorian, she still tells him that he's... Yeah, so she still tells him...
All the clones are Mandalorians.
Technically, but then she does tell him that he's not a Mandalorian. So I think that that's a problem that she has. And she always talks about how it's like her bloodline. And this is like, you know, it's an heirloom, the Darksaber is, for like blood Mandalorians. So I think that that's going to be what makes her like, oh, you're not worthy of the Darksaber. And then Din decides he needs to get the hell out of there. And then that's going to cause a conflict between the Children of the Watch. They're going to find allies, and then they're going to have to fight, and everything's going to come to a head in Navarro, which I think would be cool to see Mando's fighting in an urban cityscape type thing. I think that'd be dope. But
I really hope Darth Maul makes an appearance.
Yeah, honestly, dude. Honestly, that's what I'm rooting for, and the whole show's going to be garbage if he doesn't.
Yeah.
Did you see there was a Mandalorian with a clone trooper pauldron, or what appeared to be like some sort of like either Imperial or Republic pauldron?
No.
That Skywalker Hendrix. Shout out to Skywalker Hendrix. He sent me a picture of this.
That's pretty dope, though.
But yeah, it was.
That's a nice logo on your phone.
Yeah, it's a very cool logo.
I wonder what that's for.
Up and coming project, perhaps.
Ooh.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If you're 30 minutes into this video, you deserve to get a little inklage.
No.
So he showed this. It's got this pauldron here.
Yeah. Looks like Captain Rex's actually.
It does. It does look like some sort of clone trooper pauldron.
What does?
OC creators are gonna go whack over there.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, so I'm really hoping that you know, I really just like more unique Mando designs, and I hope that Hasbro pulls the trigger and starts using some of that all that reuse and repainting that they do to good use, and just makes a bunch of like, even if it's like multi-packs, just make a bunch of like store exclusive random colors of Mandalorians. I would buy them up.
I was about to say that they're probably not going to do that, but knowing
Yeah.
how much they cash in on Mando stuff, they probably will actually.
Maybe.
But actually, 3 hours before filming this podcast, they also dropped the directors.
They did
For the episodes. So.
These are the confirmed directors right now for Mando season 3. One is, and I'm going to butcher these names, it's Rick Famuyiwa, I think. I hope. He's directed a ton of episodes of The Mandalorian already. Do you want to say it right? Go ahead, say it right.
Yeah, let me read it.
Yeah.
Rick Famuyiwa?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Family.
No idea.
Family.
Yeah, but he's directed a ton of episodes already.
And then we got Rachel Morrison. She's directed some Black Panther. We got Lee Isaac Chung. We got Carl Weathers. We got Peter Ramsey from the Spider-Verse. And then we have Bryce Dallas Howard. So
very good directors. The only one I don't recognize is Lee Isaac Chung. I've never seen Minari, which is what he's listed as having directed before.
Look him up real quick.
Minari?
Yeah, it's like
Lee, what's his name?
Lee Isaac Chung, Isaac. What's his deal?
Oh, we've seen him before.
Oh, I've seen
yeah,
this
we
guy
have.
before.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm very excited. Mando does all the right things normally. I'm not concerned about it being a dud or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm stoked. I can't wait. Mando's. It's only like 40 days away. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's gonna be insane that it intersects with Bad Batch though. That's the only
That's what I'm
thing
happy about.
it.
I'm honestly happy about that.
Shooting will be hell. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
but watching
2
it will
podcast
be
episodes
fun.
a week will be hell, but it'll be fun for you guys to watch all the content.
Muy contento.
Yeah. Are we talking about this logo or no? We're not gonna.
No.
No. What logo?
No.
Nothing. So now that we're almost 40 minutes into the podcast, maybe we should talk about
Bad Batch.
The Bad Batch?
The Bad-
Wait a minute.
episode.
Wait a minute. What?
bad.
The Bad Batch? What? No way. So season 2, episode 4 of The Bad Batch aired as of recording this yesterday.
Speed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's called Faster. My bad.
Faster, it's called.
Need for Speed.
Need for Speed, but, basically just episode 1, but Star Wars Bad Batch now. We have a new form of pod racing called riot racing, where there's guns involved now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the vehicles seem a lot more modular. They seem a lot more aggressive, which is a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I really liked this episode, to be honest with you. I had a lot of, and I know Jacob's going to get into his feelings on the episode in a second here, but I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was fun. Tech is my favorite member of the Bad Batch, so it was really fun to see an episode where he got to be in the spotlight more, and have him figure out a situation. And the biggest thing for me was it wasn't so centric on Hunter or Omega. We've gotten so much of those two characters in the first season into the second season, and I know one of our biggest complaints from the first season was the lack of development on Tech and Echo specifically.
Yeah.
And we've gotten, even just in the first couple episodes, we've gotten some good development on Echo and then some really good development on Tech in this season so far.
Echo was a real good supporting character in the first 2 episodes, and then they took him out for this one. I think that's probably what made me the most upset. I was like, come on, man. Took my favorite. He's barely in this show enough, and you took him out completely. So I'll let Jackson talk about what he thought.
I enjoyed it. See, the first time I watched it, I was kind of on the train of after coming off last week, going to what we had now. Thank you for that, Jacob. I'll kill you. But
On air.
But after coming off what we had last week, it was at first when I watched it, I was like, dang it, I really was hoping we were going to get something awesome happening with Cody or some mission where they ditched Sid now finally. But I rewatched it and I was like, okay, I'm fine with it. It was just, it's the hype train that always comes along where you want it to be more when it comes out. But then afterwards, when you're rewatching it, you're like, oh, this is fine. I'm okay with it. Because like Tom said, it is a good episode to develop Tech. And it's a nice, fun, it's a breath from the action. I know Hybrid was talking about that in our Discord as well. Not every episode can be the action-packed stuff that we want it to be. there has to be a breath of fresh air. There has to be something different.
Well, not to mention that, like, there's been a lot of episodes of The Bad Batch that are kind of like one-offs. There's like, kind of like a side story.
Exactly.
Where I don't really care for them. And like when I rewatch The Bad Batch, I'll normally skip over those ones.
Like Trace and Rafa even. And that's just kind of like a, okay.
Yeah, like, oh, like that's a character I remember from the Clone Wars. And then that's it, But like with this episode, I actually genuinely found myself enjoying it. And there was a moment I thought was hilarious where the droid Teo, he gets destroyed the first time, they put him back together and he starts to walk away and he gets destroyed again. And my dad and I
on purpose.
Yeah, my dad and I got to watch this episode together, and that was fun because I really don't get to do that with him anymore. And it was like we both burst out laughing that he got destroyed that second time. It was fun, but yeah. But Jacob, go ahead. Let's hear your thoughts.
So by no means do I think that this episode, like, if it's a standalone thing, I think it sucks. I don't. It's a good episode. My problem comes with the fact that this is season 2. We don't need character development anymore unless it's a real paradigm shift in somebody's character. But then again, that comes from main story beats. I just think, I'm going to say the F word, I think it was filler. The episode really just kind of felt like it was so completely off the beaten path of what the tone has been set for this season so far. The tone has been set within the first 3 seasons. Looks like it was going to get seasons, 3 episodes. It feels like it's going to get a little bit more serious, especially coming off the heels of what we saw with Crosshair and Cody in the last episode. Cody going AWOL. We don't know what's going to happen to Crosshair, whether he's going to stay loyal. He looks like he's having conflicting feelings, but he doesn't know like what he's going to do. Rampart looks like he's being more and more dismissive of the clones. What's going to happen with them? We've gotten Tannis in the trailer. We know that Cody's AWOL. Rex is in the season. What's all going to happen? We know that things are going to come, but this was it was so completely off the beaten path. And I think what makes me the most mad about it is the fact that, we've been praying for this season to move away from the Bad Batch just doing odd jobs for Sid, because that's exactly what the whole first season was. It was just, we do this job, we do this job, we do this job. We're like, okay, you had that time. Let's see the Bad Batch move and actually start doing something more for the galaxy, rather than this just being like an episodic show where there's like this little fun thing that happens and there's this little fun thing that happens. And the only sort of character building that happened in this episode was for Sid. And that makes me really mad because that means that they're sticking around. So I want Sid gone. I don't care for the character. I think it's like, oh yeah, it was cool for like the first thing, like old Granny Trandoshan, but I'm just tired of it. I want it to move on.
If I'm going to be really honest at this point, yes, because we don't want to see Sid more, and yes, we don't want to see Jobs. I feel like we need to get comfortable with the fact, and what's the word I was looking for? Predict this, that Sid will be with us till the end of season 2. I feel like the Bad Batch will in some way, shape, or form continue to work for Sid or keep a relationship with Sid, but whatever happens with her character is going to be developed in this. Like what I was telling Jacob before, there's almost 20 episodes of this season that we're
16.
16.
Mm-hmm.
Just about 20.
We're a quarter of the way in.
And something that Tommy and I were talking about too beforehand is that every single episode of the Clone Wars was never this action-packed thriller. People banged their heads on walls and tables when we had the droid arc that just so happened to lead to the Clone Commando.
You know that thing was 4 episodes? That's
Yeah.
a 4-episode arc. That means if you watched Clone Wars,
episodes.
if you were like us as kids and you watched Clone Wars week to week, you watched this across 4 weeks. You know what I mean?
Hated that arc, but George Lucas and Dave Filoni loved it because of what it brought out. Because it was slow development the entire time to something good happening that progressed to what we see now happening in Rebels, and now that's directly even affecting the Bad Batch. So I'm just gonna say it. You gotta let the Bad Batch cook. Let it cook.
The difference is, though, is that that's a 4-episode thing. That's an arc that spans across one large story. This was, we had a 2-piece story. We had a one-off 1-piece story that has to deal with another character in another spot. And then we have another branching story for another character come in. And then just out of nowhere, pod racing, but new! The tone just, it switched on itself. It didn't feel like the rest of the the rest of the episode set like a pacing and a tone, and then this kind of switched it up. And it kind of just left a sour taste in my mouth because I was like,
So with the, with like to that point, I would argue that this is exactly Dave Filoni's playbook. Like this is exactly how he's done the Clone Wars is the same way. When we had the Savage Opress arc in the Clone Wars, that was season 3.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, you get that final scene at the end where Mother Talzin shows Savage Opress that image of Maul in that like globe that he can see that his brother is alive. We don't touch that for like 12 episodes until like that storyline is revisited again. So to me, I look at it the same exact way. It's different now for the Clone Wars because if we want to just watch the whole Maul storyline, you can just watch that back to back to back. Whereas with with the Bad Batch, we just have to sit through it every week. And it was the same thing as the Trace and Rafa arc in Clone Wars Season 7. We had to sit through that for 4 weeks. That was something like, I don't enjoy it. I will watch it because it's Star Wars and I like all Star Wars. But like, I don't enjoy it nearly as much as the rest of the Clone Wars show. You know? And then another point that I want to make is I think I finally have come to a conclusion as to why the Bad Batch just keep hanging out with Sid. Because that's, again, like you said, I have that same, like, why are they still here? Like, hasn't their debt been repaid? Like, haven't they, like, figured this stuff out? They can just dip if they want to. Sid has no means of getting them back if they just walk out on her. But, I mean, she does have the leverage of letting the Empire know that they exist.
Well, the Empire knows that they exist.
Yeah, right.
The only person that's sweeping it under the rug is Rampart.
Yeah. But for me, I think the biggest thing is specifically Hunter. I don't even think the Bad Batch is completely in agreement about staying with Sid. We know Echo is against it because he's voiced that to Hunter already. I think personally, Hunter really cares about Omega and he doesn't want her to live that war-torn life that they had to live, where their whole lives have been nothing but war. They want her to be able to live a semi-normal life, even though she's a part of the team and she goes on missions and stuff.
I was going to say, if he wants her to live a semi-normal life, that's even more of a reason to leave, because then you're not doing jobs. You can go somewhere. You could settle down. You can make a life for yourself. If he doesn't want her to live the life of a soldier, then stop doing bounties for a mob boss.
Right.
It's like saying, I don't want to be a gangster no more, but I'm still kissing up to the what is it, the Bizarros of Erie, PA.
Well, to that point, it's like it's kind of but the Bad Batch also, they don't know any other life because all their lives was war. Mm-hmm. So they're doing something that they can apply their skill sets to in order to not make money, but in order to have some sort of normalcy and still be able to have a place where they can go and chill out and eat Mantel mix and play Dejaric and do all the normal, little tedious life things, that's kind of how I am rationalizing. That's the only reason I can rationalize why they would even bother staying with Sid.
I think harking back to your point though about comparing this to the Clone Wars, I think my biggest reason why I kind of don't feel the same is Season 1, Episode 1. We see the Clone Wars logo, and it burns away. This is no longer the Clone Wars. Yes, it looks like the Clone Wars because it's the same animation style. Yes, it's the same writer, but it's no longer the Clone Wars. I feel like that's why I have a problem with it kind of going on these tangent episodes. It doesn't feel like it fits with the Bad Batch, where in the Clone Wars, its entire thing was, here's a story about Yoda doing stuff. Here's Plo Koon doing stuff. Here's Mace Windu doing stuff. All within the first season. It sets the tone for the fact that these episodes are going to be one narratives, or every so often you're going to get an arc, but it's going to bounce around. That tone was set immediately. But when you're sticking with just one set of characters and their story through the galaxy, it feels a little bit weird to have something be like, story-driven, side quest. Story-driven, side quest. It just...
I'll be honest with you, and I'll give a very hot take. The Bad Batch is for kids.
It's not. No, it's
not.
I
100% believe
Crosshair
it's
said,
for children.
execute those civilians, please.
Yeah.
Use your flamethrower on them.
But it's the same way the Clone Wars was. Yeah, there was graphic things in the Clone Wars here and there, but that's how the show went. It isn't an Andor. It isn't meant to be as mature as that show is. So it makes sense that they have to take strategic breaks from the action to add something fun in so that people enjoy it. But again, like we said, I don't really think it's a big deal that we have this. It's just slightly more development on a character, and that's all I really got to say on it.
That's why I agree with Jackson on the let it cook point that he made.
Just let it cook. That's why I don't review episodes until it's over.
I think
you have to let it cook.
I think for me, I think we are so used to, and especially after coming off Andor was the last thing we came off of, every episode had something that would directly tie in with the plot, and it was very heavy, it was very serious, there wasn't a lot of like happy-go-lucky fun moments. This is a cartoon. This has the silly, goofy moments with the silly, goofy characters that, you know, do stupid things and, like, you know, slip on the water and, you know, like yell and scream and shout and do cartoony things.
Mm-hmm.
This, and the Clone Wars did the same thing. Now, the Clone Wars, to Jacob's point, did have very serious, heavy moments and episodes that were very serious and heavy. And the Bad Batch does match that tonally. But I do think at the end of the day, we are just always looking for that thing, that aha moment. And sometimes like I had to tell myself like, oh, like I'm actually like just having fun watching a little fun adventure in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like that's, I think that you need those moments, especially with a cartoon, because if it's so heavy all the time that it's gonna weigh down the story because it's so dense with serious things happening. And it also makes me appreciate the characters more. Like I already love Tech and I love him even more now, so when he dies I'm gonna be even more sad and upset, you know. So but yeah, there were do you have anything you want to say about
we just want to talk about the episode
because I do have like some little Easter eggs and stuff that I can throw in,
but I was just gonna say, yeah, it makes sense to have like lighthearted moments within it. I just think you can have lighthearted moments, but you can also have an episode that contributes to the overall arcing story. It just, especially with, I keep going back to this point, the 3 episodes that we've had so far have all contributed to pushing the story forward. So you had this train of momentum, like story, and then you just hit a brick wall. That's this episode. So that's why I'm just kind of like meh about it, because you set up momentum and then you killed the momentum. And now it's got to get set back up again for whatever arc comes next or whatever mini thing comes next. In the end, I just don't really care about Sid, and I kind of just want the Bad Batch to leave all that and go do something else. But with that, I think we can talk about some Easter eggs and things like that. The one Easter egg I noticed in this episode was in Sid's bar. On the racks, they had the Coca-Cola bottles that you can see at Galaxy's Edge.
That's cool. I didn't notice that one.
I didn't see that at all. That
They're
was pretty
huge
funny.
too. They're like this big.
Yeah. And one last point too is I think by the end of Bad Batch, when it's like 3, 4, 5 seasons, whatever they end up doing, when it's in at the end, we'll look at it how we do with like the Clone Wars. Like the first, I tell people like the first couple seasons of Clone Wars like are not the best Clone Wars. There's like they have their moments, but there are some episodes you have to struggle through. But then once you start hitting that 3rd, 4th, 5th season, that's where it starts to get more consistent. I think that that's going to be what we see with this show. By the end of it, we're going to look back and like, you know, again, it's like I can only imagine if Clone Wars was coming out and we were doing a podcast week to week on Clone Wars, there would be arcs where we would just be banging our heads on the table going, this is awful. And I definitely agree with you. It's not the best Bad Batch episode. I'm not going to argue and it has really, you're right. It has nothing to do with the plot. I would even call it a filler episode. It is absolutely just something to, but at least in my opinion, it served the purpose of giving Tech and you're right, Sid, like 2 characters, a little bit more development, a little bit more of something to look forward to, you know?
I still don't see where I get Tech was the spotlight. I don't see where he has any character development.
I think it was in that in the beginning, he's very turned off to the racing. Then he starts to learn about the racing, finds out that he enjoys it, and he finds that he is able to do something that really no other human can do because of his ability to calculate and his ability. And honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you guys. I went into this episode thinking, oh yeah, Omega's going to be the one that ends up driving the speeder, and we're going to find out that she's force sensitive. That is 100% what I thought was going to happen. And I was really pleasantly surprised to see Tech do something here. And it was, for me, I think maybe that's why I'm calling it development, because Tech actually did something for once, and it was like something that he had to... Tech had to trust his own gut, and he had to, go against
His odds.
pretty much. Yeah.
But
The thing I fight against that with, though, against him having any like character development, is his character is already pretty like, I'm a brainiac, I know everything, I can do everything, and the one thing that really pushes me to think like that it's not character development is when he gets out of the speeder and everybody's like, "You did it!" He's like, "What? You didn't think I could?" That's the line that cements it. Like he didn't really change. He's just
I
that just is
disagree.
who he is.
And here's my point, is that Tech and the rest of the Bad Batch only know how to be soldiers. When he's having that conversation with Omega in the Venator about the Clone Wars was just several mission-based objectives with the overall grand scheme that the Republic wanted to do. He has no purpose in life. But now he's discovered something that he is legitimately good at that doesn't involve being a soldier. And I feel like he realizes that as well when he gets out of the pod and people are chanting, "Tech, Tech," and he's like, I can do something that doesn't mean I need to be a soldier anymore. I have found a new purpose in my life.
That's probably one of the most profound things I have ever heard regarding Tech's character. That was great.
Because that's exactly what I thought. Because he's like, wow, I have a purpose. I have a meaning besides being a soldier.
Well, it doesn't turn into, at least from what we know, this isn't turning into anything like I have a purpose more than being a soldier.
He's discovered his purpose.
He's gonna, right next episode, he's gonna be a soldier again and going like, oh, this is something he's never done before. He pilots the Marauder. He's the pilot of the Marauder.
But he's never raced before.
But it's not like he's never flown fast speeds, dogfighting, going in and out, doing things like this before. I
just respectfully disagree with what you're saying and don't believe that you understand my point. So that is what I will keep it at.
I understand your point. I also disagree.
I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna go Team Jackson on this one. Respectfully,
because Tech's your favorite.
I'm absolutely biased, but I really like what Jackson had to say about this being something for Tech, because that's been a huge thing for the Bad Batch as well. Can I just point out how we're talking more about this episode than we did the last episode, which was like so content heavy? What is happening?
Well, this is what happens when we disagree. We have discussion. This happened last season too.
With the Book of Boba Fett finale.
Every single time. You two are always like, this is great. And because I'm not like,
dude, the turrets on it move!
Every single time though, because I'm not Star Wars theory picky yet. I'm not like,
don't invoke his name.
We're not gonna beat around the bush, dude. It's picky about things.
He's very picky. He complained about screws and bricks in Star Wars when they have always existed since day one.
But it's not dissing him. He's picky with his Star Wars. That's okay. So
it's cringe, I think. But yeah.
But I'm not to that level, but definitely as things are going on and we're seeing things like Andor, what the storytelling of Star Wars is capable of, what the writers are capable of, the magnitude of writing that we can gather from Star Wars and the stories that can be told and the ways that they can be told. It makes me get a little bit more picky. It's like taking me to Burger King and feeding me their fries and I'm like, this is okay, and then taking me to McDonald's and feeding me their fries. You gave me the worst, and then you gave me the best, and now when you make me eat Burger King fries again, I'm gonna want to spit it in your face and be like, this sucks.
That I think though is because the target audience of Bad Batch is different from Andor.
Yes.
I agree with you. If you put that Bad Batch episode in front of me and then put Andor in front of me, any episode of Andor, I would choose Andor because it's targeted for people our age.
Yep.
Whereas Bad Batch is more of your family-friendly Star Wars. You know,
exactly.
I think that's what the Book of Boba Fett honestly fell into as well. It had its serious moments, but it was a silly, when you have Boba Fett running around chasing the servant droid. Yeah, like you have him chasing around the servant droid in Jabba's palace. Like that to me, and like the butcher droid, like that to me is silly, goofy Star Wars, But yeah, I think, honestly, at the end of the day, like I said, I agree with Jackson, but I also see your point.
At the end of the day, it's not a bad episode.
And the 1313 podcast disbanded over the Bad Batch season 2 episode. No, it's really not that real. And I hope if anyone takes anything away from this, you see that you can have disagreeing opinions, and it's okay when it comes to Star Wars.
You see how I didn't curse his name and say that I hated him, and now I want to cancel him on Twitter because we disagree. Just overall, my point just leads with the story did not contribute whatsoever, and it was just the fact.
And
that
you're right in that point. You're absolutely right in that point.
I think what gets me is the fact that even when we had episodes like this in season 1, you could be like, okay, this had character development to it. This had this to it. All I got from this was just an entertainment factor. I didn't get anything new from this. That's why I feel like I have beef with the episode.
This episode made me laugh more than Star Wars is, like, out loud laugh more than Star Wars has made me laugh. Almost, I would say it's top 5, because there was the moment where Teo gets destroyed the second time. There was the moment where they're like the blasters are going off, and then like it pans over.
That fellow just gets killed in the crowd. It's like
he just gets shot and he's dead. And
I didn't realize he died. He just goes, and I was like, no way, he just died, dude. I was like,
reminder, everybody, you might die, so try not to do that. We're not responsible though.
But then I also like the moment where they're like announcing all the racers, which are mostly battle droids, and they go, Tech. Is that it? What kind of a name is that? Like, I thought that was so funny, dude. Normally that would, like, I feel like that would take me out of it, but I think I was just enjoying myself so much and seeing how lighthearted it was that, like, I was, like, laughing with it. I was like, this is hilarious. Like, they're making fun of him because he just has one name.
Yep. Kind of some things I wanted to chat about was the ending in the bar when they're picking up. So there's just like a few things that I noticed that I wanted to mention. First of all, Omega's outfit looks baller. Looks way better than what we had seen in the initial trailers.
Thank God she doesn't wear the hat. Thank God she doesn't wear the hat.
It's looking more like a Bad Batch style outfit with the grays and the blacks. I love it. Maybe let's continue it. Maybe let's get her some armor. But beyond that as well, it was the point, and I feel like it's very deliberate as well, because Star Wars won't like just throw away things specifically.
Yeah.
Where the guys are like, you might want to watch out for Sid. You might want to watch out for Sid. You might want to watch out for Sid.
That's what I was saying was her only character development in the thing. That's why I was angry, because I'm like, well, they said that, and that's foreshadowing the fact that something else is going to happen with her in the season. So that's why I was like,
I think we're going to have a Lando Calrissian situation on our hands with Sid. I think that something's going to happen where the Empire goes to Ord Mantell, because the Empire is spreading its grip throughout the galaxy right now. I think they're going to go there. Sid is going to end up being put in a position where she has to turn them in, and then she's going to end up hopefully dying to save them. I think it's going to be one of those where it's like, she's with Omega. The Bad Batch gets captured. Omega's like, Sid, we have to help them. And she's like, nah, I'm good.
Let's
and
call
then
Rix.
Yeah. But that's kind of
what
where I'm
happened
at.
with the skunk from over the hedge? Where'd she go?
Wanda Sykes?
That is
What
true.
if that was just it? I hope that was just it.
If that was just it, then I'm going to be so confused. Like, why did you just put her in there and then never put her in again?
I feel like the problem's I think, you know what? It's probably going to be they set up Sid to be this bad guy, although all this, and then Wanda Sykes is going to turn in the Bad Batch, and then imps are going to show up, and Sid is going to do something and actually surprise everybody and actually be like a good guy and like cover for them or like save their lives or something. That's probably what's going to happen.
And then she's going to live on the Marauder with them and be there
God.
all the time.
The other thing I was going to mention as well, actually, from that bar scene.
I think Jacob just has a crush on Sid.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Whatever.
I think he got a little crush on her.
Whatever's the dictionary antonym of crush, that's what I have on Sid.
I think you look at her and you're like,
Sid,
those
repulsed.
wonderful spikes you have on your head, each one could just poke me.
Sid is built like my grandma. I don't want anything to do with Sid.
That was not nice.
What? It's short. It's got the old lady build. She walks like this. I don't want to hear it.
She is the definition of sleeper build. I'll tell you that.
Did you guys see the video where they have the margaritas at the gas? The guys and they're like, that's a sleeper build right there.
Oh my God.
I see that video only because of the first 2 seconds where you see that dude.
And everybody goes,
I went,
That was totally the only reason they recorded that video. There's no way they were showing off the margarita makers.
that was so funny.
Yeah, so a couple other goofy little... Oh, wait, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, in the bar scene as well, and the guy who's the driver
the
who
racer.
lost.
Yeah.
It was so off-putting when they're having a conversation like, yeah, we do business, we're clear. And it shows him, like, look at his gun, and I was like, what?
I thought Tech was going to get shot and die.
Yeah, really and then he was like reaching for it. And I was like, what? I was like, for me, that kind of threw off the vibe completely because it was like, okay, yeah, you won fair and square. You're cool. Here's Sid back. No hard feelings. And he was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I was like,
That racer is the same species as like the guy that's like in like
Yeah.
episode 1.
Yeah.
I thought it was
like,
the
is that
same
the
guy.
same guy?
Before I
But-
pointed out it wasn't.
I was wondering if it was the same guy.
Yeah, so it's the same species.
Yeah.
I did like that they had a mix of aliens from original trilogy, prequel trilogy, and sequel trilogy. The main guy, I think his species is called a Grumgar. He's like the main boss
The
dude.
Grumpus.
That is like taking Sid and like talks about old times and like blah 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 with her. That guy was from the sequels. He's from
Yes.
Force Awakens. And on Maz Kanata's Cantina.
Yeah, he's
and
the one
then-
that's big pimping with all them ladies.
Yeah, we have a Trandoshan, which is the same design from the Clone Wars as the Trandoshans in that Ahsoka Lost episodes.
We got the blue people that aren't Chiss.
The Pantorans,
Yeah.
and then we also had a Gamguard with, and it was I like the tubby Gamguards. I'm not a fan of the thinner, muscular
The
Gamguards.
tubby ones are funny, but the sleeper built Gam Guards are kind of funny though.
The buff ones in Book of Boba, it's uncanny valley game.
Yeah, it's like I know a lot of people with a similar build to that. I just
Wow.
so
I
there's
don't want my Gam Guards to be built like Vin Diesel. I just don't. I want them to be like family.
I liked that the like we said, the droids were mostly the racers. There was one that was a total callback to Attack of the Clones. It was a battle droid head
I
on a
saw
protocol
that.
droid body, and he does like a finger gun. I was like, they had so much fun with this one, and I really liked what little details in the animation. There was a repainted commando droid,
Yep.
which was
That
cool
was
too,
pretty cool.
and then just another protocol droid, which I thought was cool. But yeah, the battle droid head on the protocol, and he does like that was just, to me, that was gold. Yeah, so there was just a lot in this episode I thought was really fun, and it was fun Star Wars, and I think especially coming off Andor, I'll appreciate it for that. You know, that it was fun Star Wars, and again, I'm biased because it absolutely furthered, you know, it gave a spotlight to my favorite member of the batch. But I feel like that's all I have to say. I can't believe
That's
we
all I got
talked
on
this long
Me too,
about
dude.
this episode. I thought we were going to talk about this episode for maybe 10 minutes.
It's because we also talked for
was-
20 minutes before the actual episode started.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
This
that's
is
true.
what happens when you be podcasting. You talk about
a doobie.
it's more than just what happens in the show, because the people watch the show. They don't need us to tell them what happened.
Remember
in the show.
when we used to give play-by-plays of the
That was
episodes
second by
beginning to
second?
end? I'm
That
so
was
sorry.
cringe.
I'm
That
so
was
sorry we put you guys
cringe,
through
dude.
that.
So first we see and we're watching it
Dude,
like right here.
but don't forget about the scene where he does this thing. Oh, and then after this, the scene, and then he takes a breath.
Yeah, it was really cringe.
It was so bad. But thank you all
We
for
improved.
if you stuck around with us for that long. I hope
Yes.
that was
If you got through that hardship, thank you for sticking around.
Awful
Yeah.
phase.
And thank you everybody for making it through this episode. I can't wait for this to get a
It's-
total of 58 views.
It's been a
But
while
that's
since
fine.
we had an episode that went over an hour. It's
Yeah,
been a
That
while.
is true.
Yeah.
It's
been
been
a
a while,
minute.
but this is what happens when there's disagreements.
Well, it's funny because we have a joke that like no matter, because there was a lot of stuff on the schedule for this episode. We have a joke that normally we're like, oh, we're gonna be podcasting for a while, and it goes like 45 minutes,
Yep.
and then we just
You know, like, oh, I thought it was gonna be a lot longer, but no. I guess we need to disagree more often.
I mean, it does make for better conversation.
Yeah.
It does.
Mhm. That's why I lean as hard as I can into my. I did not like the episode. I watched it again with Delilah. The episode's fine. It's a fun watch. It reminds me a lot of Clone Wars. It's just like ha 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 ha. I'm just like, for content's sake, this episode sucks. But thank you everybody so much for watching this episode of the 1313 podcast. If you made it this far, you should like it, you should leave a comment, and you should be subscribed. And if you're not already, subscribe and press that bell icon and support us on Patreon for your chance to win this Lego set February 1st.
It's still sold out.
It's still sold out, so if you want to
Wha-bam.
get your hands on this, make sure that you're in that Gungan Boss tier. Shout out to Jackson for actually finding this in the store. Absolutely on that grind. But TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Follow us on Twitch. We're going to be streaming soon. You're going to find out more about details on that in the Discord. Perhaps maybe something Friday. Perhaps. We'll have to see.
Maybe.
Friday, maybe Saturday.
Perhaps.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the 1313 podcast, and we'll see you guys all next time.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody!
Dun 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 dun.
Hum da da hum da da hum dum dum da. Hum da da hum da da dum dum da dum da
Ba-do ba-do, ba-do ba-do, ba-do ba-dum, ba-ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-do ba-dum, ba-do ba-dum, dum.
hum da dum hum da da hum dum 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 hum dum da dum hum da da hum dum da da. Hey, I'm da dum da dum da. Hum da dum da dum da dum da. Da da ba da dum dum da ba ba da ba da da da.